Hello everyone! One thing that I have learned that makes me a better grower is keeping records, and this helps us be more organized. It helps us be more observant. It helps you pay attention to what your plants are doing and how they grow, like if you've got sympodial orchids, if they root or flower before or after, oh my goodness, sorry, if they root before or after flowering, or in what stage they root, in what season, when they grow their new shoots and stuff like that, so that you can be ready to repot your plants on an appropriate schedule. Like I will say over and over and over again, and like every grower will tell you, this is especially true of sympodial orchids, the time that you want to repot is just as new roots begin to form under that lead pseudobulb. This prevents, it helps your plant become established a lot faster, and that usually happens in the spring, but it is good to keep track of your plant's growth cycle. Also, okay, so in my book I have a master list of all of my orchids, because I have on occasion lost one behind another plant. I don't know where that is, but I also keep this little, on Excel I will go and print out a graph, and I don't know if you can read this. It says roots, bloom, shoots, repot, rest, and some of them have a leaf drop on there as well for the deciduous orchids. And so with those, you'll see what that is for in a minute. I also keep sorry, I'm scooting around, a list of disease treatments. I'll put the date, the plant, and the treatment, like what fungicide I use or whatever, so that I know which plants I did on what days, and I don't have to flip through the whole book to figure out what I sprayed when. And with lots of fungicides, you want to use them twice within like 7 days or whatever, so that's where I keep track of this. I also have an environment changes sheet that has my photoperiod schedule, since I grow under lights. When you're growing under lights, you want to change the length of the days between the months, because some plants need short days to bloom and other ones need long days. So I'll keep that, what my photoperiod schedule is supposed to be, what it actually is, because sometimes I forget to change my photoperiod on time. And I also have, like with my LEDs, I have grow and bloom switches, and I can also, on the other one, I can dim it or brighten it. So I'll write down when I increased the light or decreased it, so that I can see how my plants did during that time, because I kind of am experimenting still with how bright I need. So those are past year's environmental changes. And then let me get to the page I wanted to get. Okay, I got a new orchid today. It's Jumelia confusa. It's a little baby. I got it from eBay. Okay, so I don't like to keep the tags in my plants because they get in the way for me. So I'll tape that up here. I will also write the entire tag number, like everything that the tag says on here, in case I lose the tag. Because sometimes, like you might miss a piece of information and lose the tag, and the tag is for, the grower. If you have the number, sometimes, like if they don't have the name written down but you have the number, they can tell you about that plant if you need to know something about it. Like I had an orchid that was lost its tag, but I knew what it was, but I didn't have the tag number, and so the grower couldn't tell me anything about it. So then, okay, the graph, I'll tape one of those into here, and so on here I've got, like, I know the roots have been growing for at least 2 months because they're actively growing, so I checked that, and then this one, and then the plant just now started growing another leaf. So when that happens, I'll just put it in September. When it starts rooting or starts growing a leaf, I'll make an arrow like this, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. I'll make an arrow so that I know it started then. And because sometimes they'll be rooting and rooting and rooting, and then they'll make new roots from a new pseudobulb, and so that's why I make that. On the bloom, I'll start writing, when I notice a spike, I'll put a little SP. When the first flower opens, I'll put the date. When the last flower fades, I'll put the date. This says rest, but I don't think my plant is going to rest, but repot. I repotted that today. This helps you because you know you need to repot your orchids every so often, depending on how much of a moisture lover, how fine the mix is, and your humidity and other factors like that. So usually every 2 years you want to repot. So I know if I put this on here, and I've got 2016 written up here, that I don't need to repot this plant for 2 more years at least, in my conditions. Also, a really good thing to do is take a picture of the plant. Not print out a picture of the flower, you can do that too, but take a picture of your actual plant and paste it in here, because if you look at it 3 months later and it's not looking as good as it was in the picture, you know, maybe it's a little shrivelly, maybe you need to water more. So also the leaf color can change depending on your light brightness. If your plant starts getting kind of dark, you know it probably needs more light. So it's really good to have a picture. Try to take your photos, like if you have natural light, try to take your photos of your plants all in the same area, like at the same time of day. Or I would say, because your seasonal lights will change too, maybe under artificial light, under some kind of lamp that has the same kind of light bulb, or something where it's consistent, because if you have, you know, say you take your picture on a dim day and then you're looking at it on a bright day, it might look brighter in real life. Or you can use a, what are those? The grayscale. Print out an artist's grayscale, hold it up next to the leaf, take a picture of that, and put it in black and white, and you'll be able to tell what value that is, and so you can tell if it's getting too light or too dark. So that's, yeah, like a lot of times our plants, like I was looking at one of my plants today and I thought, it looks kind of dark. And I know just from experience that yes, it is too dark, so I increased the light. But so that is helpful. Okay, so I'll write down the price and the date I got it and all that. If you don't take a picture, write a description. Like I wrote how many leaves it had, how tall it is, and what it was potted in. Writing down what it was potted in sometimes is helpful, because if you change mix and that mix isn't working out very well, you know, you can look back and see what it was potted in, and that might be a good medium to move back over to in the future. Also, I'll put some cultural notes like the temperature, the brightness, water requirements, and the bloom season, and how whatever you want to write on here is. And then I have also like Internet Orchid Species Photograph Encyclopedia. You can look up pretty much any species you can ever think of, and it will give you a description and some of this information. It's also good to try to find that orchid for sale on other websites and see what cultural conditions they say. So lots of times IOSPE just says warm to cool, and some really want more warmth than some. I mean, a lot of them say warm to cool. So you know, check it with a few different websites if you don't know for sure what the cultural needs are. This also says it's in deep forest in moss and lichens, so I think that that's probably going to want a higher humidity than some of the other orchids are okay with. Like some grow out on the edges of branches where it's really windy, and so they can take a little more drying off. But this one I think is going to want a little more moisture and a little more humidity than, say, like Cattleya. Also, oh yeah, I already said I have a master list, so I think that's everything. Oh, right, and then I usually have a page. So I've got my page with, like, my base information, and then I will have, oh my goodness, let me find one. Here we go. Then I'll keep an extra sheet on here, like this will be 2016 notes. That was 2014. If I don't use up the page, then I'll go to 2015 and 2016. and I'll write whatever other notes that I think are important, like how big, how much bigger the growth was, if I think I need to move it into brighter conditions, or if I've been watering too much or not enough, or like how many flowers it had, how many growths it started making all at once, or you know, those kinds of things, whatever I feel like is important. Also, when I have a cattleya, I grow a lot of cattleyas, okay? Some cattleyas will root after they flower, some will root before, and some will root during flowering. Now, sometimes you can find this information. I've got a book that's got the classic cattleyas, tells you all this info, but you need to watch your plants. This is why this helps. You can see, like, some of them will root once the leaf, the pseudobulb sheath, is dry, and so keep a record of that. And some will root like on immature growths, and some will do both. So just keep an eye on that, because I was always like, well, when the hell am I supposed to repot this thing if it's a non-flowering plant? It's a baby still. How do I know when I'm supposed to repot this plant? Keep track of that so that you know when your plants are going to do their thing and in what stage of growth. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you guys. Sorry I was not a little more organized, but